Stocks aren't too far off from a positive close if the NASDAQ can just regain about another 0.5%. Chip makers are helping out the indexes. Semiconductors are still up as a sector. I got Tom here with me in studio who noticed some options trading in Broadcom, which is having, no other way to say it, an amazing day. Up 3.5%, almost to a fresh 52-week high.
Yep.
This is after it's been hanging out above $800 since its earnings in June, refusing to break down while the market weakened. So I'm not surprised that tech bulls are hanging on tooth and nail today when you got a key company like this doing what it's doing.
Well, it's doing what it's doing because of a deal reporter report.
Right.
Out of that.
The website Deal Reporter.
Deal Reporter.
Has a report about a deal.
That the Chinese Market Authority might temporarily approve the deal for VMware. And VMware is up over 4% on that news, hitting all-time highs today as we speak. So that was a big story out in AVGO. That's why it's up over 3%. Today, up over 60% so far this year. So it's had a good run. It's already been approved by the CMA over in the UK. Still waiting from Australia, Canada, Brazil, South America. They've already approved it. Sorry about that.
Okay.
They've already approved it. But then U.S. is supposed to follow suit. And Chinese State Administration for Market Regulation expected to approve it.
The two big
shortly.
ones,
Yeah.
U.S. and China.
Yeah.
So the fact that it's up on this means the market really likes this deal.
It does. And remember, just about a month ago, 21st of September, they came out with that report from the information that said, hey, that Google Alphabet was going to stop using AVGO chips. Right, so that was a downturn for that, but we're seeing a nice run here today. We're seeing a lot of bullish flows, call volume about 6 times normal daily average volume here in Broadcom today on this pop in the shares. But one that stuck out to me was in the 920 strike calls out in the October 20th monthly cycle. Expires in just 8 days, so real short-term positioning. They bought over 5,000 of the 920 calls, average debit of about $11. So it's a high-price stock. That's a lot of option premium for only 8 days till expiration and on and out of the money call. But they paid $11, so the break even for this trader above 931 over the next 8 days. That's 3% above the current share price in there. Put volume, I mentioned call volume about 6 times normal daily average volume, so a lot of flows into the call side. But put volume actually up about 7 times normal daily average volume that we've seen over the last week of trading. So a lot of option activity in there either way. On this report that the deal might get approved in China.
Okay. And it's not just Broadcom. I mean, the group is still positive, one of the few. It, again, is just an incredible sign of resilience and gravity-defying technical support in the most important part of the market, frankly. Just from a market cap. Okay, the index, the NASDAQ, held its summer lows. Why? Because chips held their summer lows.
Right.
Why? Because NVIDIA is still trending higher. Because Broadcom's still trending higher.
Adobe
in the mix on the software side. TSM also up as there was a note out from Morgan Stanley analysts saying that their guidance could surprise to the upside. So even though both these stocks took a dip today, they're still positive heading into the last half hour here.
Yep.
Okay.
For sure.
So the trade and the action, I mean, how long does this person need this little bid to last?
Just 8 days, but there's a lot of short-term positioning and near-term options that expire tomorrow, too. That's typically where you see those one-day options. You'll start seeing a lot of option flows. The stock is off its high for the session, but people positioning in the short term, expecting maybe we'll get an announcement by tomorrow, but this trader's banking that we're going to get some type of announcement on approval out of China over the next week.
Okay. All right. Also positive. We talked Amazon and the big Prime Day spending that's happening, or saving rather. What's the trade you saw here? Something bullish too?
Yeah, they didn't actually announce that the actual totals that they got, but they said traffic was higher for Prime members this year than last year. That's a good positive sign for this company. Stock's still up 57, 58% so far this year, so it's had a good run. That Loop Capital put out a $200 price target on it today, so some positive momentum in there, and they were buying calls. And the one that stuck out to me was really short term, expires tomorrow at the close, so basically a 24-hour trade. Over 70,000 of the October 13th weekly, the 134 strike calls were scooped up. Average debit of about 80 cents, so that break even of 134.80 over the next 24 hours, about 2% above the current share price in there. Now, the stock did trade above 134 earlier in the session before the market got hit after that dismal 30-year bond auction caused a spike in rates at this point. Call volume is double normal daily average volume that we've seen over the last week of trading. So yeah, and typically Amazon trades a lot on a daily basis, option volume anyway, but to see a name like this trade double the amount, based probably on those earlier gains, the stock was up 2% at one point in the day.
Okay. Again, impressive stuff with Amazon holding where it's been trading, and Broadcom doing the same. Yesterday we got the fresh 52-week high, and Meta, Alphabet the day before. So there's a lot of stuff going on in the mega cap world that is still very encouraging.
Are they hiding out in these names?
They really are.
I think they are too.
The whole notion of like the big cap safety trade is,
right.
I feel like at this point, the best explanation.
Free cash flows, decent balance sheets, growth is still there.
Yep. And especially if you kind of organize them by their quality factors of cash flow and shareholder-friendly activity, Apple's at the top, which is at, after breaking out to records. NVIDIA the same too, because some of these they still have some of those growthier, frothier areas of their business, like Amazon's cloud, still below the highs, the record. But okay, very encouraging here for bulls for sure. 36 basis points is what the Nasdaq has to take back in futures to end positive today. You got to trade Delta. We just ran through the numbers. What did you see in options?
A lot of call buyers in there trying to scoop this dip that we're seeing, because if you look at the top and bottom line numbers, it weren't that bad, but guidance a little bit lighter than expected.
Our guess was very bullish.
But they were buying some November options, so giving themselves a little bit of duration, about 5 weeks till expiration. On here, I saw a trader come in and scooped up 10,000 of the 37 strike calls. Only paid an average debit of about 80 cents on those, so the break even 37.80 over the next 36 days. That's just about 7.5% above the current share price. This stock was above 37 after the announcement, the earnings announcement came out pre-market. Traded above 37, so you don't need that big of a move, although 7.5% move to the upside over the next 36 days. You've given yourself some duration. Maybe the stock's going to bottom out because the numbers still look good. The CEO, Ed Bastian, he's normally pretty positive on his conference calls, and he was again today, saying that demand is not waning. The one caveat, gas prices. They had to really jack those up by over double digits based on what they gave last quarter, what they were expecting to pay a gallon for jet fuel. So that's kind of probably going to squeeze their margins a little bit, and they're not being able to pass off some of those charges on to the consumer because some demand was waning just a little bit. But call volume about 3.5 times normal daily average volume that we've seen over the last 5 trading days. More than double the amount of calls traded than put. So I think a lot of people positioning for maybe a rebound over the next month or so.
All right. And that would be the trade that our analyst just walked us through to buy the dip, Delta and United.
Best in breed, that one.
Apparently. Okay, that's the message. All right, thanks, Tom. Interesting trades, a lot of bullish action in the options market today, and in particular in some of the mega caps that are holding things together.